Chair thanks the witness for her testimony. The chair will now recognize members for 5 minutes for questions, and I will begin by recognizing myself. Mr. Gallegos, we were in Roswell with another member of Congress a little over a year ago, and we talked about the devastation that this administration has and the reduced in the royalty or the production for the communities. We talk about health care, police, fire, ambulance, education, roads, etc. I remember asking an individual who wasn't supportive of the industry. I said, how are you going to make this up? I couldn't believe the answer I got, but I'm going to share it with you. Through the sales tax of selling marijuana. I thought, I can't believe that a professional answered that way. I don't know how much and how high people have to get to sell that much to make up for what you're described. And that's unacceptable. I wore the police uniform for 23 years. You're gonna make that up by doing this to our kids? That's why when Representative Pfluger said this was supposed to be a bipartisan, the chair and I invited everybody from the committee. And I'm disappointed that my colleague from the other side of the aisle didn't come to this valuable hearing. Mr. Ackerman, thank you for participating today. Joe Biden claimed in the State of the Union that, quote, oil and gas will end in 10 years, end quote. We know that isn't true. It's not even feasible. However, he's trying. Although perhaps unlawful, he has crippled leasing as much as he possibly can. Much of the federal production right now is occurring on leases offered under the Trump administration and previous administrations. Under Trump, 153 parcels per year were offered. Under Obama, 103 parcels, and under Biden, only 9.6. This shortfall will unjustly be felt by your membership. With Joe Biden choking leases on energy, which allows energy demand to skyrocket, how will your membership react to the dwindling acres available, and how can we in Congress help?
Mr. Chairman, thank you for the question. No industry has been more unjustly villainized than oil and gas. On all fronts, never has a more vital industry to the security of this nation faced a bigger onslaught of attacks. Vague and random ESG policies have shut down financing. From a number standpoint, 53 to 54% of the production within New Mexico is on federal land. The other 35% is on state land. So when you look at the challenges both on the federal and state level, any slowing of lease granting, any feet dragging on the permitting side, slows down 53 to 54% of the entire production within the state of New Mexico. The oil and gas industry within New Mexico has proven from a time when oil actually went negative during COVID, you had to pay people to take oil. They've increased production 132% in a short amount of time when costs in the oil field, labor is hard to get, anywhere from 75 to 150% increase in cost of inputs because of the supply chain challenges. The industry can provide, and we're grateful for any help and support we can get to minimize the effects of the current progressive agenda.
Thank you, and I can tell you that the permitting reform is a priority for Mr. Westerman and the other members of the Natural Resources Committee. Senator Gallegos, thank you for participating. Your constituents are hardest hit by this administration's keep it in the ground mentality. Building off my question to Mr. Ackerman, as the Trump and previous administration's leases are completed and we now fall to the few acres offered by the Biden administration, how do your counties, townships, and municipalities brace for future catastrophic funding shortfalls?
Well, thank you for that, Mr. Chairman. So what happens is, because we've ridden the cycle before, in Southeast, we've always learned to be able to restore some money back. But what's going to happen drastically here now because of the permitting is I predict we have 2 to 5 years maybe of permits that are out there. Production is on a peak during the initial drill, but it drops off significantly. And I don't think it hurts just my communities. I think it hurts the state as a whole. Right now, we're spending money recklessly throughout the state because we have an abundance because of oil and gas. You take that out, we're going to go back to what we've historically done, taking money from schools, from safety, public safety, because you have to find places you can pull back. We have to have a balanced budget every year for the state of New Mexico. Well, when that money's not there, we have to pull it back from areas that we can. And a large part of that, Mr. Chair and members, is in staff. At some point in time, you have to lay people off because we do not have the funds available to do it. So what happens to oil and gas in the good time is a blessing to the state, and on the other side, it hurts the whole state by losing people and opportunities.
And I thank you for your answers. The chair will now recognize the full committee chair, Mr. Westerman, for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Chairman Stauber, and thank you,